A lark and her momster are coming your way. Gonna tell it how it is, so won't you join us today? And we're back.
We are. We're back.
We're back.
We're back. Back to back.
Back to life. Back to reality.
Reality. It
Wait,
is real.
what's the song that's stuck into my head? What's the song that's stuck in my head right now?
Ooh.
It was on loop in my head.
I can't help you.
It's about our country. Oh, it's so catchy. It's not coming to me. Watch it come to me later. It's really good. Some guy wrote about our country's demise. Oh, it's a catchy song. Anyway,
I'm glad there's something catchy about it.
It's so good. It's so funny. We are a lark, and I am a lark, and you are my
Momster.
And these are the soundtracks of our lives.
These are the soundtracks of our lives.
Yes. Like, these are the days of our lives. But
these are the days of our lives.
At least that's what this episode is about. Not the days of our lives, but the soundtracks of our lives. But before we get into that, today's wine is being drinking.
We are imbibing in the following wine today.
I don't know words. I'm quite tired.
I am too.
Mom's enjoying the wine today for me. It is the Moscio Prosecco Brut. It's an edgy, fresh peach and peppercorn scented sparkler.
Why are you saying that with a southern accent?
I don't know why, but I like to Matthew McConaughey things that have P's. It's edgy. Let me start again with my Matthew McConaughey. It's an edgy, fresh peach and peppercorn scented sparkler. It's bright with greenness of chlorophyll and a peppery burst in the end.
I have to admit that when I first saw that, I thought it said, it's bright with the greenness of chloroform. And I thought,
I did not know. I didn't know it had a color, chloroform.
It doesn't, but
does it have a peppery burst in the end? Can you confirm?
I don't know. Let me try it.
Can you confirm?
Give me a second and let me try it. Now I'm afraid my sipping sound will be heard over the microphone. No? Yeah, it does.
Oh, she can confirm.
I can confirm it has a little bit of a peppery aftertaste. It's very good.
And no chloroform.
Thank God. Although, truthfully, I could use some chloroform right now.
That is not an invitation, just so y'all know.
No. It is chlorophyll. Although I think that's kind of an interesting allusion to the wine. The greenness of chlorophyll. Anyway, I never would have put that together with wine.
I like it. I mean, it paints a pretty picture.
It does. It really does.
Although now I'm just imagining people getting chloroformed. That's terrible.
Isn't that horrible? But yeah, that's kind of why it's been one of those weeks.
Yeah.
It's been 10 years in the last week, so.
It's been, we've gone back to Germany in 1940s Germany. Let's be real.
Yeah, it's kind of scary days. So we're going to do some self-care through this episode, which is a special one because we're diving into something that's deeply personal for us. And that's music.
It is.
Music kind of takes us away from reality, and it's a good way to kind of separate all of the negativity and bring it back into something that's a little more positive. And
it does.
And it's an important part of our relationship.
It is. It is. And you know what else is cool about music is that it's used as a way to communicate. It's a universal way of communication.
It is.
And it's so special. And we're talking about the music that shaped my mom's life, the songs that filled our home growing up, and how that music, her music, became mine too. And how my generation's music also became hers. You know, that feeling when a song comes on and suddenly you're transported to another...
Zoom.
Oh, I liked that sound effect. I'm sorry. I was like, where are we going with that?
Transporting us to another time.
I really liked it.
And another place.
Okay.
One that is kinder and gentler.
I liked it. Excuse me. I liked it. But yeah, I like that feeling when you're transported, zoom, into another time and place. And that's where we're exploring today, the soundtracks of our lives and how the music of our youth, the music we grew up with, never really leaves us.
And that's actually demonstrated when music is used with people who are suffering from dementia.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
So people who have dementia, when they hear songs that they grew up with or were really an integral part of their lives, their younger lives,
right.
when they hear them, it brings them back to a sense of
remembering.
Yeah, exactly. So
really
it's a beautiful thing.
And for me, it starts at the beginning, listening to my mom's music and my Gami's music as a child.
Yeah. And the music of the 60s and the 70s and the 80s. Okay, and some of the 90s, I will admit. But
yeah,
truly the 60s, 70s, and 80s, like pre-you.
A little bit.
was more than just background noise for me. It was storytelling. It was rebellion. It was soul searching. And I grew up listening to the radio, to Janis Joplin, Simon and Garfunkel, Joni Mitchell, Neil Young. He's such a badass. The Rolling Stones, the Beatles, they were all centric to my youth. I mean, there's so many others. I mean, Melanie, I've got a brand new pair of roller skates. You got a brand new key. You know, all of those things. I also have to say, there were moments when I did listen to things like Donny Osmond. But we're not owning that much. It's definitely not something
That's okay.
Yeah, anyway. Bobby Sherman.
That's okay.
Paul Revere and the Raiders. Anyway, there's so many that were out there that I listened to. And as a young child, I have so many memories of just sitting in our living room on the floor and listening to your Gami's albums. And some of the ones that really resonated with me were Odetta and Joan Baez. And their music was poetic and political.
Yeah.
And again, just deeply personal. And Joan Baez's voice touched my soul. And her vanguard years, the folk songs about trials and tribulations, love lost, wars fought, was so ingrained with my memories of watching the news and what was going on in Vietnam and the protest and the civil rights protest and the civil rights transformation and seeing how people who were so marginalized were able to bring change in a positive way.
Yeah.
And so that music and what was happening at the time in the 60s and the 70s was just, I don't know, it just evokes so many incredible memories for me.
Well, and it's true. We look at it and we see the music of the 60s and the 70s, and it's all tied. It's all tied into politics and into change.
Yeah.
And you can't separate it. You really can't. It's all tied together. And for me, listening to Joan Baez, there is the political part, where she and Bob Dylan were together and they had their duo, which was incredible. But I was in love too with her later stuff, Diamonds and Rust. Like, I'll never just forget that. Well, I'll be damned, here comes your ghost again. Like, it's just so haunting when she sings. I cannot do it justice, but it's like opening a book of poetry or reading a journal and about a love that you thought you forgot. And it's beautiful. And you introduced me to her early on and just explained how her music wasn't just about love or even just kind of what's going on in your life, but about something bigger than herself and bigger than yourself.
Yeah. And I think that's what I struggle with somewhat today is that
songs
musicians
now are just,
musicians don't use their music to take a stand for what's right.
There are some. There's a couple.
Yeah.
There's a couple, but I think not in the way
Pink did.
Pink did.
Yeah. And
I will say,
recently.
I think like Chappell Roan's doing some stuff, but I think not in the way that they really did back in the day.
It was collective back in the day. And now it's like one here, one there. Anyway, Yeah, and then just getting back into more music that that I grew up with, that was yours first. Fleetwood Mac, Stevie Nicks. I believed in magic because of her. She is the original witch. Landslide is a song that just stops time. Rhiannon made me believe that I was a witch. I still, You still are.
Of course. And listening to these songs, I think Gypsy created this picture of like you. I don't know why. Like I pictured you as some cool hippie, free loving it up in San Francisco.
I wasn't there.
I no, you weren't. For some reason, I thought you were. I don't know why. I pictured you living in San Francisco.
Well, I did spend some time when I was a younger teenager in San Francisco because my stepfather lived in the Haight-Ashbury district.
Uh-oh.
And that's all. I can't remember we talked about that, but that was a whole different era. And going where the Jefferson Airplane's house.
Also great music.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And it was painted black with this incredible gold leaf trim. And anyway, again, just so a White Rabbit.
Another amazing song.
Yeah.
So much great music that just kind of gets passed down through the ages.
You could have an entire podcast.
Oh, just about songs.
About music like that.
Oh, for sure.
And how it informed our views on the world. It touched our hearts. It brought us together.
Yeah.
There were just so many positive things. Anyway,
there's messages.
All the messages.
Yeah. I mean, all the messages. You're right. We could have a whole series just about messages within certain songs. But I shall digress.
That's okay. I can also remember, you've always talked about how I introduced music to you, and I really tried to have more music in the house and less television.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that you constantly wanted to watch Barney. Scary purple dinosaur.
I mean, there was music on Barney.
Don't go there. Anyway, when you were little, I would put on Mary Chapin Carpenter almost every morning, and that's what you woke up to as a young child.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's some of I actually remember we had a bowl of Hershey's Kisses, and I remember waking up to Mary Chapin Carpenter and dancing to that and like eating a Hershey's Kiss. I don't like in our house in New Orleans.
Boy, that speaks to what a great mom I was. You woke up.
Hey, I have beautiful memories that make me very happy. So that does speak to something.
Yeah. I think, rhythm of the blah, blah, blah. I can't even talk. I need to drink more wine.
You do.
Rhythm of the Blues is a good example of a song that reminds us that life is never just one thing. It's joy and sorrow, hope and regret. And two of her songs were just, they were like anthems for women to show them that they have a right to be who they are, to be independent and worthy of love. He thinks he'll keep her. I'm sorry.
Oh, that was one of my favorite. Oh my gosh, I love that song.
And
he thinks he'll keep her.
Like he has the choice.
Right, yeah.
And then Passionate Kisses. Every woman should get what they want in life, which includes passion, if that's what they want. So I just loved the fact that even she was willing to talk about things that mattered at that time. And you'd wake up dancing to the bug.
Because sometimes you're the windshield, sometimes you're the bug, sometimes you're the Louisville Slugger Bee. Yeah, I love.
Or Down at the Twist and Shout. I that song in particular would come on, and you'd just start twirling. And when you were little, you wanted all of your skirts. You would only wear dresses with skirts or skirts that went bigger, higher, faster. And I just can close my eyes when I hear that music at any point, and it takes me back to that time and seeing your skirts going bigger, higher, faster, and the joy on your face. So,
aw, it's so funny. I do remember my skirts having to be bigger, higher, faster, and having to have skirts made bigger, higher, faster.
Yes.
I was very, very, very pleased for that. But
yeah, and I have, our little place in New Orleans. It was a shock. That was the first place I ever heard you sing.
Yeah.
And because it was a shotgun, and where you were was in the very end of the house, and I was in the very front of the house, it was like, who is that? And it was you. So,
speaking of New Orleans, being our hometown, being from New Orleans, music, not birthplace of music, but, we're just going to say birthplace of music. My mom, also loved the soul and the jazz of the city because that New Orleans music is the soul of the city.
Oh, I used to take you as an infant and a toddler. I would take you down to the Marigny to go listen to music at bars.
Oh yeah. That's why music is in my soul. And it was impossible, not to just be a part of that scene no matter what. And I remember growing up, you played Zydeco at one of my Girl Scout troop parties. And I remember I used to be kind of embarrassed by it, but now I love it. Zydeco is so cool. And, Irma Thomas, she was local. She was a staple in our home. And
well, her music was. I wish she had been, but
her
music was.
Not like she came over, but sure at all. But her music was. Yeah, it's Irma Thomas coming over for dinner. I do remember seeing her for Mother's Day at the Audubon Zoo in 2016. One of the last times that my mom and my Gami and I got to spend together for Mother's Day, and
your Gami
was right there with her hanky in the air.
Right, dancing and grooving as the New Orleans Soul Queen, or the Soul Queen of New Orleans. I think it's the latter part is what they referred to her as.
The Soul Queen of New Orleans.
That's right. She was singing Don't Mess With My Man.
And it's raining. Yeah.
It's just kind of your Gami loved music.
She really did. And
she really did. She loved New Orleans. She loved music.
Yeah, and some of the music that I listened to with her, too, was in the car. Anytime we went anywhere, we would always, always, always listen to music. And it could be music from the 50s, from her time, too. I can't even name some of the artists. I couldn't remember them, but I feel like I was very well-versed in my taste in music.
You were.
Not to toot my horn, but I knew lots of artists by the time I was 10, probably more so than most kids at that age.
And there was the Neville brothers.
Oh yeah, I love Aaron Neville.
Oh, his voice can't be replicated. Good try. No, sorry. Yeah. And I think Yellow Moon is one of your favorites, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I love the Neville brothers. No one can replicate their sound.
No.
Those harmonies. Oof. There's just something about them.
Yeah. The harmonies are amazing. And I'll just, again, going to Tipitina's, seeing them live.
Like, you've gotten to see them.
Oh, I have.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Neville brothers. I used to go see Dr. John. Mm-hmm. Just so much of that kind of music. It's just a staple in my memory bank, I guess is one way you could say it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you fly into New Orleans and you fly into the Louis Armstrong Airport.
That's right.
Or Satchmo, as his nickname was, and Gami loved Louis Armstrong.
Boy, did she.
She loved What a Wonderful World. I know, for me, my favorite Louis Armstrong song was St. James Infirmary. That tune it haunts me in the most beautiful way. And I just loved that being around you, and Gami gave me such an eclectic taste in music. And, as I got older, Mom started introducing me to even more powerful, poetic female artists.
Before we talk about that, though, remember how your Gami could name that tune?
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
She could name that tune, and if you brought up a topic,
she would know the song to sing on the topic.
Yes.
Yeah. Like you could say sunny day, and she'd be like, no, sunny side, right? Like I'd be like, can we look on the sunny side? And she'd go, keep on the sunny side, always on, like some out of nowhere. Just like pull it out of nowhere.
Yep.
I'm just like, what? Yeah.
Yeah, you clearly got your musical abilities from her, not from me.
She was very, very musically talented. Yes.
Yeah. So, I think Luna wants to sing with us.
Oh, we're gonna have a quick musical break, and we will be right back. And we're back from that very short musical break, which was not even a short musical break because I don't edit this very well. So,
well, it was a Luna break.
Yeah, it was a Luna break, but you guys don't know that because there wasn't really a break. So, back to the music.
Well, they did hear Luna singing.
They did. They heard Luna singing, but it was all of a second because I put no breaks in this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, back to the music.
Of the 90s.
And very powerful female artists of the 90s because they were my jam. Yes. Poetic. Because they were my jam. We're going to get into Paula Cole.
Oh, my.
Paula Cole, who, oh my God, I love her. She was like women's rights, woman power, hear me roar. When I first
As opposed to Helen Reddy from the 70s and I Am Woman, Hear Me Roar. But anyway.
90s. When I first heard her songs from This Fire, the album, I didn't really understand them yet, but I loved them. It was just kind of this gut feeling you get from music that resonates with your soul, I think. And I remember listening to Tiger on a trip with a couple of other third grade Girl Scout friends to camp. And my mom explaining sometimes songs have some bad words, yet we need to listen to the deeper message. And where have all... Yeah.
Well, you know, when I was playing it in the car, I just didn't think about the fact that it had some words that maybe third grade girls shouldn't be listening to. And by the time...
Well, and you always explain them to me.
Well, I know, but at the time, I just wasn't thinking about that. So here I am listening to the song, and all of a sudden, I went internally went, oh shit! I probably shouldn't have said music. Anyway, so I felt it important to explain that to you later.
Yeah. And you were always really good. I always asked what things meant, and you were good at explaining them. Not then, because I didn't ask what it meant when other friends were in the car, because somehow I had the good grace to not do that when I was a kid, somehow. But at the time, Where Have All the Cowboys Gone was really catchy, and it was like a big song on the radio, and it just kind of still resonates to this day, because, like, where have all the cowboys gone?
Yeah, seriously.
But her song, well...
They've probably gone far to the right. And
unfortunately. Yes. But her song, Me, is the one that I always loved and I kind of still listen to and return to time and time again. One of the lyrics on that song is, I am the monster, or like, I can't remember exactly what it was, but it's all about how you really are the one that controls things within you.
Right.
And I've just always loved that song. And I'm just, kind of surprised that you let me listen to that at such a young age, and I think you're kind of a badass for that, so thank you for that.
Well, the reality is, and this is, I think, just part of human nature and the need for children to kind of find a way to rebel. Mm-hmm. And I didn't want music to be that rebellion for you.
Well, I appreciate that, because I think music is so important, and I think people find who they are through music, and it's such an important outlet.
Yeah, that's true.
And I know Joan Baez was kind of like the emotional soundtrack of your life, but Sarah McLachlan, she was totally mine.
Well, she was pretty amazing. She still is amazing.
Oh my gosh, she's amazing. You know that she had a stalker, and she wrote a song about her experience with her stalker, and totally that's how she kind of got like a bigger name.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's called Possession.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, incredible. But I remember many a night when I would just, be dramatic and fall asleep to Fallen. That was just kind of, one of her bigger songs kind of later on. But that played during, those quiet, reflective nights. And I just loved that song. But I used to constantly cover Building a Mystery.
It's just because you constantly heard Building a Mystery.
It was one of my faves, not gonna lie. Yes.
I played it a lot.
You did play it a lot. It was great. It was poetic. It was dark. It was spooky. It was haunting. And it still is to this day one of my favorites. And God, I could honestly go on and on. I could have a whole podcast about so many other incredible female artists that I love, like Natalie Merchant, who actually sparked the idea for this podcast episode because I thought about her song Wonder the other night.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Or Fiona Apple, who we listen to time and time again. Tori Amos. Yet we can't have a 3-hour podcast or an entirely new podcast because we're trying to make this one work.
Why?
But I will bring up one final artist because she has had a huge impact on me, my music, my poetry, life in general. Jewel.
Oh, yeah.
My love for wanting to write about things that matter. Her voice was so different. It was raw. It was hers. Her lyrics were her poetry. They were literally her poetry.
Yeah.
And she had this way of making things that seemed simple sound very profound. You Were Meant for Me was really catchy. But Hands was the first song that I really learned to sing all the way through. And it was the first song that I listened to that really just...
And you were so little.
I was so little.
You were 7.
I know, but I remember...
know. Your little hands.
But I remember listening to it and thinking, like if I could tell the world just one thing, it would be that we're all okay.
Yeah, and we need that more than ever now.
So much right now.
Yeah.
And, just listening to her words and listening to that song, and it seems so simple, yet it's so impactful, and that's music, and that's her, and I feel lucky that I got to sing that song and sing it for people. And
well, you sang it professionally in front of an audience of 3,000 people at a United Methodist conference, and with the minister from our church, our United Methodist little church, playing guitar, and you sang it for a United Way video. And you weren't exactly on pitch for that, but it was so sweet.
Sorry, just the stage bomb. You weren't exactly on pitch for that, but the emotion was there.
Yeah, exactly, which is so much more important than the pitch.
That's hilarious.
But you were just if I could tell the world one thing in the video, and you had your little hands up. It was so cute. Yeah.
But yeah, music has really woven its way into how I see the world and the way in which I move through it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because that's how music moves through the world for us. And music changes and generations shift, but the songs it raise us, they never really leave us.
No.
I grew up in a time when pop music was starting to become very, very popular.
Oh my God, you were very into Britney Spears.
I mean, it was a thing. It was coming up. I mean, Mariah Carey was huge. Britney Spears was huge. It was the pop era, the 90s. It was like grunge era. It was like grunge era, pop era.
Well, grunge I'm fine with.
Fair enough.
Totally fine with grunge.
But I always...
Give me a little Pearl Jam.
I did always find myself coming back to the music that you loved, or coming back to the music that just felt real and raw, and the sounds of the storytellers, the true storytellers who use their music to share messages or to heal, or just the ones that you could feel. I don't know how to explain it, but those melodies that just... Oh, okay. Funny enough, Jewel actually had a story about this on her Instagram. It's called Frisson. It's like music that you feel that gives you goosebumps.
Yeah.
It's called Frisson.
I like that, Frisson.
Frisson. And it's music that makes a difference to remind us of our past. Like, music that reminds people who have Alzheimer's of certain moments in their lives.
Right. Brings them back to life.
Right. Even today, I still gravitate to that music. It's like the other night, coming back to wonder. I don't know why I came back to that song, but something in the universe was like, you need this song tonight, you know? And I did. And whatever the reason, I know one thing, that the soundtrack of our lives isn't just about nostalgia, but it's about connection.
And it crosses generations.
It does.
It really does.
And it creates the soundtracks of our lives. Just keep saying it like that.
I know.
That
this
is the sound.
These are the soundtracks of our lives. And because I listened to that soap opera for so many years growing up.
Why?
Because soap operas were big when I was growing up. And
even
when I was a young adult, it was like, and they're still big.
Oh, really?
Believe it or not, yeah. Oh. Some of them are. They don't have all the ones that were there when I was young, but oh my God, yeah. General Hospital.
I was just thinking
The Days of Our Lives. Right. I'm trying to think of some of the other ones. I'm drawing a blank because it's been a week. It's actually been 2 weeks.
It's been a year.
It's been 10 years in the last 2 weeks.
It's been 1 week since you looked at me. I'm sorry.
So anyway, it's just...
see, I got that from Gami.
See? Yeah, skipped a generation because I have zero musical abilities. Zero. So anyway, but I'm glad that you grew up with music.
I am too.
And I think it did shape who you are. And you have so many incredible musical talents. And
I still plan to use them.
You do use them. And I am just grateful that you also were able to have a Gami who really did embrace music. And I mean...
Me too. We had so much fun with it.
Some of my favorite last memories of her were at Audubon Park listening to Irma Thomas, and that is a video reel in my mind. I guess it's a video and reel. I don't know what you call it, but because I guess video is different than a reel.
It can be both. It can also be a real video in your mind.
Yeah, exactly. As opposed REAL versus REEL. Anyway, just that memory of her and the joy on her face when she was dancing to Irma Thomas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
such a blessing. And you're a blessing, honey.
Thank you. Sometimes I'm a curse, but you know.
No, sometimes you're a pain in the butt, but you're never a curse.
Well, thank you. Well, thanks for...
And I'm a pain in your butt.
Well, these are the pains in our asses.
Yeah.
They happen. But thank you for blessing me with an incredible life filled with incredible music. And, you know, this here's to drinking water because of surgery. But here's to the soundtracks of our lives that will continue to live on. And thank you all so much for listening to us. I know we are not music, but thank you for tuning in and listening to A Lark and Her Momster. And please let us know if you have a song that shaped your life in particular. You can drop it in the comments or send me a text message via Apple Podcast in our little text message. Or you can email us at larkandmomster@gmail.com, LARKANDMOMSTER@gmail.com. We would love to hear your stories. Until next time, keep the music playing, keep on singing if that's what you do, and
keep on rocking. And don't forget,
rocking, keep on rolling.
Yeah, don't forget to
rate, review, subscribe, and share, because sharing is caring and it can be fun.
That's right.
Alrighty. Until next time.
Cheers.
Over and out.